Did you know that good workplace communication can increase individual employee performance by 300% and improve overall company productivity by up to 25%? As you can see, communication is really important. That's why you should go leave a comment and like this video right now. But let's get serious now. In this video, we're talking about communication strategies in the workplace, what they are, why they're important, which ones you should choose, and the things that can get in their way. Stay tuned. First things first, let's talk about what a communication strategy actually is. A communication strategy is a set of guidelines created by a company to govern its interactions across multiple channels. Think of it as a guideline on how to get the right information to the right person at the right time and in the right way. An example of a communication strategy for verbal communication in the workplace, be it in person or remotely, could be listen as much as you talk. On the other hand, a strategy for important written communication could be, after writing a first draft, or even a second, do something else for a while and return to it later with a fresh set of eyes. I often deploy this strategy actually because it always gives me a fresh perspective on my work and almost always improves what I've written. Okay, that's nice and all, but what benefits do communication strategies have for the workplace? Firstly, they even out the differences between our communication styles. We don't all express ourselves the same way. Some people are direct and to the point, while others prefer to speak more broadly and take time to get to the point. These so-called rules help ensure efficiency, comprehensibility, and productivity. Second, they prevent miscommunication. Miscommunication can negatively impact team dynamics, strategies, and more. And according to research, companies with poor communication have a 46% higher risk of failing to complete projects, a 31% lower employee morale rate, and 18% lower sales figures. Finally, they help us to do a better job. It's been proven that effective communication leads to higher productivity, more ideas being shared, and a more sensitive and inclusive working environment. Sounds pretty good, right? So here are a few tips to improve your own communication in the workplace. There's a very real difference between how you should communicate things if you're a manager, communicating with your team, and if you're talking to your boss. So before you have a conversation with someone, consider who you're talking to and what tone of voice is appropriate. And if it's a really difficult conversation or one with a slightly contentious topic, consider the long-term impacts of what you're going to say could be. WAIT is short for why am I talking? This is a great technique to remember if you are someone who tends to waffle on a bit. If you can't satisfyingly answer that question, or you've already said what you need to say, it may be a good time to do as the acronym suggests. Close your mouth and open up the floor for someone else to speak. Clarity is key in workplace communications, so if you don't understand something, be bold and ask a question. After all, someone else may be dying to ask the same thing, but just hasn't got the confidence yet to ask. Similarly, if you're the one presenting information to a group, don't assume everyone has an equal grasp of the subject being discussed. Encourage people to ask questions and give them the space to do so. And remember, there is no such thing as a bad question, so be nice and build a communication culture of honesty and openness. However, there are certain things you should be wary of. So now I will outline some of the most common mistakes and barriers to achieving effective workplace communication. An obvious yet often overlooked or forgotten fact is that conversations are a two-way street. In fact, the verb converse comes from the Latin word comm, which means with or together, plus versare, which means to turn. So it literally means to take turns with someone. So if you want to have a genuine conversation, be careful not to talk at the other person, but instead talk with them. To do this, involve your partner by giving them time to reflect on what you're saying, encouraging them to contribute their ideas, and asking them if they have any questions. It's tempting for us to focus on being interesting ourselves, but we should strive to be interested in what your colleagues and customers have to say. After all, don't we want and expect the same thing from others? To do this, try and incorporate open-ended questions to give your conversational partner room to expand on their ideas and opinions. Another great technique I like to incorporate into conversations is to repeat what the person has said to me in my own words. This affirms that not only have I listened to what they've said, I've understood, and it gives them the chance to correct me if I've misunderstood something. Oftentimes, we say things in the heat of the moment without really considering their full effects. This tends to lead to unforeseen and unwanted consequences, such as offending someone or falling out with them altogether. And at this point, communication breaks down completely. To solve this, stop to think whether the thing that you're worked up about will matter in 5 days. If it won't matter, is it even worth mentioning?
You are a waste of life and you should give up. Is what I want to say, but I won't, because that is why we are doing this right now.
We also have to consider external communications too. So if your conversation partners are customers or prospects, but they can't physically see or hear you, it's pointless. And this is more important now than ever with remote working in teams. So using a communication tool that is unstable, unreliable, and lags can make the difference between closing or losing a deal. So if you're communicating with customers or prospects, you need a reliable call center software, like CloudTalk, which ensures you always achieve crystal clear and lag-free communication. So you can focus on doing what matters, either closing deals or helping customers. You can try CloudTalk yourself for free with the trial, including its 70+ advanced features, best in industry integrations, and phone numbers that are available in over 140 countries. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our other great content on our channel. Thanks for watching.